Good morning, Flosstube. I'm Sarah and you're very welcome to my channel, Sew Me Sarah, here on YouTube. This little corner of the internet is all about cross stitch and sometimes other needle arts too, and a little bit of life and stitchy goodness talking as well. So today I plan to chat with you about my regular stitching and also about my visit to Stitch in London last weekend. So I will do the regular Flosstube kind of items first, and then I'll talk about the retreat if retreat recaps are not for you, but it was really fun, so do be prepared for lots of gushing later on. I want to say a huge thank you if this is your first time visiting with me here on Sew Me Sarah. I hope that you like what you see and what I have to share. And I hope that you will take a look around YouTube to find other Flosstubers who might be your cup of tea, just in case I'm not. But hopefully you are, and hopefully like me, you are the kind of person who likes to watch lots of different types of Flosstubers. Lots of people stitching lots of different things with lots of different and unique personalities. We all exist here on this chat, on this social media forum, and yeah, there's lots of us to find and have adventures with. So anyway, if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back and sharing some time with me. I hope that you've got plenty of stitching in hand today to keep you busy while I chatter to you. Since last time, obviously I've been at Stitch in London, so I've got lots to say about that a little bit later. I want to say thank you to those of you who responded about Northern Ireland framers of needlework. So I had 2 responses and I was able to share them with the viewer who had asked me about that. But I'll just mention them here too in case anyone else is in Northern Ireland and would like to know. So I had one comment that said she had used the Yard Gallery in Hollywood, and she said they were very helpful in terms of helping her pick out frames and mats and decide how to proceed with her framing, and she was pleased with the job. Another person had friends who had had their stitching framed by Trends Framing in Agnew Street in Larne, and they said it was very reasonably priced and they were happy with the job that was done. So Trends Framing in Larne and the Yard Gallery in Hollywood are the 2 recommendations that we have for you if you are in Northern Ireland and would like some of your needlework framed. I want to share with you the Cotton and Twine box for October. I was going to share photographs with you because mine hadn't arrived, but I was out doing some errands this morning, and when I came back it was sitting on the doorstep. So I'm actually able to show you the real thing. So the Cotton and Twine subscription box is available now for October for ordering on a subscription. As I mentioned in the last few weeks, last few episodes, Cotton and Twine are the subscription arm of Historical Sampler Company, and they have recently rejigged their subscription options so that there are now 3 possibilities for you if you would like to subscribe. The first possibility is to subscribe to the whole box, which is the kit and the gifts that come as a nice surprise box for you, and that's what they've sent me, and I will share those in just a second. The second option is to order the kit only, so that's fabric, floss and a pattern. Of course you need a pattern. Yes, fabric, floss and a pattern and a needle. That is an option too. For both the first and second options, where you're ordering a subscription that includes fabric, you can choose between 16 count Aida and 32 count linen. And then the third option for subscribing is to have a PDF only, PDF pattern only. So you can manage your subscription through the website, through an account on their website, and it's so flexible that you can actually change what type of subscription you have month by month. So if one month you decide you want the gift box and kit, you can do that. The next month you just want the PDF pattern, you can do that. Or you can skip back to just having the kit itself, or indeed you are able to pause and skip a month as well. So it's a really great subscription and super value as well. At the top end, which is the gift box, you're paying £20 for the Ada kit and the gift box, or £22 for the linen plus postage and packaging in both cases. And then at the bottom end, you've got the PDFs, which start around £7 per PDF. So it's really super value and so flexible that you can decide for yourself. And what happens is that the subscription for this box, this October box, will be open until the 25th of October. At that point, the subscription closes, and the next day or two, they will announce the November subscription. And then you have until the 25th of that month to make a decision about which kind of subscription you want. So it's all, hopefully I explained that okay, but it's all really easy to follow in real life. So let me show you what they're offering for this month, for October. This is the October. It's a Scandi inspired Christmas tree, and it's so pretty. So this one has got beautiful fabrics. I'm not sure if they've given it a name yet. Reindeer Christmas tree is what it says on here. We get kind of preview boxes, which is what I've got because the boxes haven't released yet. And sometimes between the preview box that I get and the real boxes going out, they'd have a little name change. But at the minute, it looks like they're calling it Reindeer Christmas tree. As you can see, it's Scandi inspired. So you will get in your gift box, if that's the option you choose, you will get this pattern, which is a lovely big A3 pattern. And then you will get a pretty little bag which contains your fabric and your flosses. So I get the linen box, so I've got a lovely piece of Zweigart white linen. And look at these gorgeous colours. I'm going to hold them up against the linen actually, so you can just tell. Aren't they beautiful? Love it, love it, love it. I'm definitely adding this one to my stash so that one day I will stitch this. So that is your kit and your fabric. There's always a needle in your box as well. And then with the gift box, you get some finishing supplies. So the finishing supply for this one is a lovely striped piece of cotton, which I should have ironed before presenting it to you. But it gets tossed about in the box a little bit. But it's a lovely piece of finishing fabric for this Scandi Christmas tree. And then we have always a little tea bag for refreshment. And the gift this month is beautiful. It is a Gisela Graham ornament. And there she is, little angel. I know some of them are red. I've seen a few red ones in the marketing photographs. So there must be different colors of it. Probably red and this cream. So I love her. She will definitely be an addition to my tree this year. And then there's always a sweet treat as well. And this one is a little chocolate reindeer lollipop. I'm guessing I know where this will disappear to. So yeah, I think Charlotte will probably have this. Anyways, that is the full box. As I said, you can opt for that subscription. You can opt just to have the pattern fabric and floss, or you can opt to just get the pattern by PDF. And that is available until the 25th of October on the Cotton Twine website. I will link that below. Sorry for that little edit. I took a tickle in my throat. The subscription is open from now until the 25th of October for this particular box. So if you're interested in this one, make sure you sign up by then. If it is your first time subscribing to Cotton and Twine, then use the code FIRST15, FIRST FIRST 15 to get 15% off your first box. So that is the Cotton and Twine subscription for October. I have another new pattern to share with you. And this is from So Be Stitchery. The lovely Sarah at So Be Stitchery sent this one to me. She has released another Louisa May Alcott quotation. I am not afraid of storms, for I am learning how to sail my ship. Beautiful. So Sarah has kindly offered to send one of you a PDF copy of the Louisa's Wisdom chart. If you would like to be in for a chance to win that, then please use the word storms in your comment below. Storms. So thank you, Sarah. It's another beautiful chart, and I see that you are definitely growing your quotables charts, and I love them. So thank you for sending it to me, and thank you for offering it as a giveaway gift for my viewers. So yes, use the word storms in your comment for all of the giveaways on this channel. Please be a subscriber. Please be over 18, because I have to ask you for personal information like email addresses and sometimes postal addresses. And don't use words like giveaway, winner, prize, those kind of words that indicate there's a free prize going here on the channel, because I don't want to attract the bots or the folks who just want to collect things to resell. I want these gifts to go to proper stitchers like you and me. So there will be 2 other shares or giveaways throughout the episode today if you manage to stay with me all the way. So that was the first one. Use the word storms. Okay, let's have a little look at what I've been stitching in the past couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. Some of it is pre-Stitch in London, some of it was at Stitch in London too, and then some of it I will show you when we talk about Stitch in London. So first up, I have a finish of a long-standing stitch along, and this is the Barbara Anna 4 Seasons stitch along that I've been doing with Jackie at Comfort Stitching. So this year as in since last December, Jackie and I have been doing a stitch along together for the Barbara Anna 4 Seasons chart, and we have been starting each of the seasonal ladies on the appropriate equinox or solstice. We started on the 21st of December last year with a winter lady for the winter solstice, since we're both Northern Hemisphere residents. We invited you to join in and stitch along with us, and I know some of you have, and some of you are even starting to join in now, so that's really great that the stitch along will keep going even after Jackie and I have finished. Anyway, I had the Autumn Girl was the last one to stitch, and Jackie and I started her on the autumn equinox, and I finished her at Stitch in London. So here she is, and here they all are in all their colourful glory. I made a small change just to her skin colour, just to add a little more diversity in the skin tones that are represented here. And other than that, she is as charted, and I loved stitching her. I loved the bright pop of orange. After a lot of blue in the other ladies, the orange was really refreshing. So yeah, I'm really happy with her. As you can see, I've taken out that ugly line that was across the top. That was my counting line, because as you know, I started with winter and then went to spring and had to leave gaps in the middle, just to make life difficult for myself. But the stitching line did its job. I managed to count correctly. Everything is where it should be and everything lines up. So I'm really happy with that. It was a tender moment when I started the autumn one, thinking I really hope there's enough stitches between her and the others and that I have counted correctly, but I did manage to do it. So the stitching line, the guideline has come out across the top, which is really nice. So now I have to think about how to get her framed, and I will get her framed or frame her myself most likely and have her hanging somewhere, have all of them hanging somewhere. So I'm so thrilled with this. It was a really lovely way to stitch these ladies. The pace was nice, there was no pressure, there was 3 months to stitch each one, and it was really fun to have Jackie keeping me company on that cell, or rather I was keeping her company. I kind of joined on her cell. So thank you, Jackie, for having me along on your stitch along. I think that was your very first stitch along, and I know you'll be close to a finish very soon too. So, And those of you who joined us for the stitch along, thank you so much too. It was lovely to see the pictures that you tagged us in on Instagram of your own progress. And it was fun to see how some of us are stitching it all in a row like I am or have done, and others were stitching 4 separate pieces on different kinds and colours of fabric. So I love to see that. I love to see how we all make something our own. So I'm very happy with this finish, and it was fun to put those last stitches in at Stitch in London. Okay. My next finish was a finish last night while I was catching up on some floss tubes. And this is a finish of the Magic Needle Kit Peony. This little kit, if you recall a few weeks back, accosted me when I was in the cupboard. It fell down on top of me and I thought, oh, I'd like to start that. So for no other good reason, I had a new start with this. And I just worked through this in a kind of color completion method, which I don't normally do, but it worked really well for this kind of design. And I think that it's turned out really lovely. I just stitched it with all of the kit materials. It's Magic Needle Kit, if I didn't say that already. And it's on 14 count Aida. So they're up close, I think it could do with maybe an extra strand of thread. It's 2 strands on 14 count, and up close it looks like it could do with 3 strands in places, but actually nobody's going to be that close to it and it looks fine. I love the depth. I think the color gradation in it is beautiful. And I really enjoyed this little kit. I really did just enjoy it. It was nice. The chart was really good to view. The chart itself is just on the back of this card, so it's not huge, but it's not tiny either, given that it's not a very, it's not a particularly big piece. But I'll hold it a little bit closer for you to see. I think they have achieved lovely depth, and there's no back stitching in there at all. So I think they've achieved that really well just with the different floss colours. So that's my little finish. I do have another one of these Magic Needle kits, same size, same kind of colorings. I can't remember what the flower is for that other one, but I may not do anything with this one until I stitch that one and then decide what I want to do with them both. They may well become part of stitching mats or project bags or something like that. But I think I'll wait until I have them both stitched before deciding what to do with them. So that's my other finish, is Peony. And then I had 2 starts and finishes. I'm just going to show you one of them now because one of them is related to Stitch in London, and I'm going to show you that when we chat about Stitch in London. But the other one is a Primrose Cottage design called Love to Read. And I saw it on their newsletter and then purchased it and stitched it because I couldn't wait. I thought it was just beautiful. And it turns out when I was looking at their website, Primrose Cottage Stitches, that they have several of these love. There's one with a tomato pin cushion in it for love stitching, and I can't remember what the others are, but they have 2 or 3 of them anyway, and maybe they'll have some more, but this one is called Love to Read. And I just chose my own flosses, but they're very close to, in colour, to the ones that were on the chart. So that is a little quick, very satisfying start and finish. And I'll show you, as I said, the other one when we talk about Stitch in London. I've been keeping up with Andrew's training schedule for the New York Marathon. Andrew, the runner stitcher, is running the New York Marathon on the 2nd of November, and he has continued the Whip Into Shape SAL to cover the training that he's doing for that. So we got an extra couple of months on that SAL, and I have been working on this one, which is the Bee Queen by Tiny Modernist. Andrew started this with me last year when I was doing my Fun for 50 SAL with Sally, This was one of my 50 starts, and Andrew joined in with the Bee Queen. So when he wanted to run his own challenge, which was supporting his training for the Sydney Marathon, I thought it would be appropriate to pick her up and get going on her to see if I could get her finished. I didn't quite get her finished by the time of the Sydney Marathon, but Andrew has continued the training sessions on into the end of October then for his race on the 2nd of November. And that has bought me a little bit more time, and I've been able to work at and hopefully get to a full finish on this by the time of his race. So you can see I have been working down there across the bottom. I've put in, I can't remember if I showed you these, but I put in the toadstools and worked these flowers, and I'm kind of working them in mirror, so when I do one on one side I do one on the other, and that leaves me with 2 bees, a center flower, and then 2 more of these little white daisy type flowers, and then she'll be finished. So I think, fingers crossed, and there being no reasons why I can't stitch at all in the next few weeks, I think she will be a happy finish on time for Andrew's race. So I know she looks very sad with no head, but her head is there, I promise. I just don't want to unroll her while she's in a good place for accessing the stitching that's needed at the moment. So that is the Bee Queen, and she is progressing very nicely. The next stitch, I think I'm being a little bit cheeky showing you this one, although I can't quite remember where I left it last time, where I showed you last time. So this is Scrooge from Primitive Hair. It's a Christmas Carol series, and the chart is called Scrooge, but there are actually 2 charts in it, the Bah Humbug and this sign. So I'm calling this the Scrooge and Marley Counting House. That's what I have named it. And I was preparing this to take to stitch in London. So I think I managed to show you that I had put in some of the wording at the beginning of the lines so that it would be easy for me and I wouldn't have to make difficult counting decisions in the stitching room at Stitch in London. And I had, I think, most of, if not all of Scrooge outlined when you last saw it. Certainly by the time I went to Stitch in London, Scrooge was fully outlined. When I went to Stitch in London, I think maybe I did 30 stitches, maybe. that might be being a little bit generous. But here it is. It may not, I can't quite remember what way you saw it last, it may not look very different. But I did start up here on Thursday night in the lobby when we met with some others who had arrived early. I took it out and stitched, but because I'd been up since 4:30 that morning, I didn't get very far. I was so tired and had to leave it aside, and I didn't get back to it at all during the weekend. That's because there were other things that were happening as well. So it was ready, but I didn't actually manage to do as much on it as I had hoped. However, I have Zoom calls tonight, and I have other Zooms arranged for the future, so it will be all ready for filling in the stitching then. But it's going to look nice. It is going to look nice. But yeah, I feel a little bit cheeky showing you something that possibly only has 20 or 30 stitches in it since the last time you saw it. Okay, those are the whips. I then have a couple of new starts. The first is one that I chose to start for my daily thread stitch. So that is every day when I am stitching. The first project that I pick up is called my daily thread. I put 1 length of thread into that, whatever length of thread I've decided will be for my project. Load the needle once and away I go. And just doing that every day, because I do stitch mostly every day. Doing that every day, it adds up, the progress adds up. So I needed a new one, and I chose Flossability's Winter Pillow. I was encouraged because I had a finish recently, as I shared with you, the finish of the Autumn Pillow, and I have lots of these pillow patterns, so I really wanted to stitch them. So I thought this would be a really good one for a thread a day. So this is the winter pillow, and I am stitching it on a blue. It's a 32 count, but I have had to drop to 1 strand over 2 because it's a Picture This Plus. I think it's called Midnight or Twilight or something. I've forgotten, and I didn't bring the pattern card with me. I've used this fabric before. It is 32 count, but it stitches more like a 36, 38 count maybe. It's quite small. So, and the 2 threads looked horrible on it. So I dropped back to 1 thread and it looks much, much better. Look at that cute little penguin, isn't he so adorable? Each little square has its own emblems on, and I just really enjoy them. So the one that is not finished yet is the center one, which is a snowflake, really. So there. And then I get to do the ice skate and the igloo and the acorns and the trees. They're all beautiful, all beautiful. I love Lauren and Sam's designs, and it was really lovely to see at Stitch in London so many of their charts for sale from Talking Dog Stitchery. So yeah, it was really good. And I am loving this. I'm stitching it with, I think it's Classic Colorworks Snowball. You would think I would know these things. It is called Snowball with Floss. I think it's Classic Colorworks. I will do better next time and make sure I bring this information with me, but it's lovely. So that is my daily thread. I think if I can keep up with this one, it should be finished by the end of the month, I think. Yeah. 1 thread is getting me almost halfway through one of the squares. So that's how it goes. And then we'll see whether I move on to the Christmas pillow as my daily thread, or whether I decide to pick up something that I've already started and needs a bit more work, but that's the decision for when this one's finished. My other new start was a start at Stitch in London, and I'll share that with you when we talk more about Stitch in London. So my plans for the next few weeks going forward are to continue with that daily thread. The Magical Gingerbread House Sale starts tomorrow. I'm very excited. That is the Historical Sampler Company's Christmas Stitch Along. You can still join that. It's not too late to get the kit or to get the PDF version of it. You might just be a few days after the start of the sale, unless you're going for the PDF version and signing up today. You know, there will be plenty of time for you to catch up, so it's still possible to join in with that. It's a mystery sale in 4 parts, delivered by PDF every 2 weeks from tomorrow. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to see how that's going to shape up, and that will be on my stitching rota then for tomorrow. I am also going to have a look now. It is mid-October. And I am going to have a look at my list of whips, and because it's still very long. It's going to always be very long from now on, I think. But I would like to look at the existing whips to see which ones I might be able to finish by the end of the year, and possibly then refocus on those to push them over the end. Because if I can clear those out, then I've got room for more new starts. I know that's not how it should work, but that's how it will work. So let's be real. But it would be nice. There are some whips in there that I think could be finished this year, and that's what I'm going to have a look at over the next few weeks and decide which ones to bring more into play again. So Magical Gingerbread House, Winter Pillow, and obviously I want to keep going with the Bee Queen as well, because that's Andrew's still training and I'm still cheering on from the sidelines with my stitches. So yeah, let's have a look at those whips and see how that goes. So I often, as you know, do a one special thing, and there are lots and lots of special things to come in this episode, again, when I'm talking about Stitch in London. But I do have one special thing for you, and that is a new pattern release by Hanneke at A Dutch Stitcher. So Hanneke has been working very diligently on reproducing a design that she saw in I guess it's like a stately house, like a stately house that you can visit in the Netherlands. And there's a beautiful chaise lounge there, and the arm of the sofa and other parts of the piece of furniture are decorated with cross stitch. They have been, but the arm of the sofa is the part that Hanneke has reproduced, and she has worked really hard to reproduce that, to find the colors, to stitch that up, and she has created a beautiful chart, which I believe is called Wildflowers Field, and it's available on her Etsy shop. I'm inserting a picture now. It is gorgeous. And it's not necessarily something that I normally stitch, but I am really liking it, and I think that it needs to come into my stash and be part of my one-day stitches. So if you like this chart, it is available on the Etsy shop, which is called A Dutch Stitcher Designs. So head over there and pick up a copy of Wildflowers Field for yourself. For Get Connected, I have a new Flosstuber, a new to me Flosstuber. She's fairly new. I think she's just got 2 episodes out, I think, at the moment. Her channel is called Faith X Stitch, and her name is Federika, and she is from Italy. Federica has a beautiful channel, all in English, perfect English. So, you know, there's no barriers to us at all. And she's a tattoo artist, and she is obviously therefore very creative and artistic herself. She loves to stitch chatelaines and mirabilias and fancy ladies, and she has shown some other really interesting designs and patterns that I haven't seen before. So I'm interested to watch her to find out a little bit more. I think it's always lovely to watch people from other places, because they have access to and know about other designers that maybe I haven't experienced yet. So I'm watching with anticipation to see what else she shares in the future. If you are a cat person and like cats in real life or stitching cats, she had some really stunning cat stitches. And I'm not a cat person at all, but they were really beautiful stitches. So go and check out Federica over at Faith X Stitch. Give her a little bit of support and a welcome from the community. So that, I think, is the end of the regular chat today, and we'll do another giveaway just before I finish up, because if you're not interested in the Stitch in London chat, I understand it's not for everybody. You're most welcome to hang around, but if you would like to skip on now, that's fine. But before you go, there is another share away. This one is a pre-loved chart that was sent to me by a viewer who said I could stitch it or pass it on. So I've kept some of the other ones for stitching, and this one I'm going to pass on. It's Autumn Hill by Plum Street Samplers. The chart is perfect. There's a little handwritten note on the back of it just about the size that she cut her fabric, but the chart has not been written on at all other than that. So if you would like to be in with a chance to win this chart, then please use the word autumn in your comment, and the other rules about ages and, you know, all of that apply as well. So autumn for this one if you would like to win it. Okay, let's have a little chat about Stitch in London. I don't want to talk forever. I haven't got forever. I could talk forever about how brilliant it was. So I have to figure out a way to tell you all this without talking for most of the afternoon. Anyway, last weekend was the first weekend of Stitch in London, the autumn weekends that Marie over at Stitches and Diamonds runs each year. So the last couple of years she has split her weekends, and she has, that means she can incorporate more people, and she has run the weekends in October. So today there are 56 lovely stitchers enjoying the second weekend of Stitch in London. I wish I was there with them, I really do. I had such a good time. So last Thursday, my lovely travelling retreat buddy Noreen and I headed off to Stitch in London. So this is a picture of Noreen and I. It's actually last year's picture, but I love this picture and I want you to see the lovely Noreen as I'm talking about her. So Noreen and I travelled together to Stitch in London. She is such an easy companion to go with, and I have to say that my Stitch in London experience would not be the same without her. This year we picked up someone else en route. This year we picked up Amy, who is Irish Maple Stitches on Instagram, and Amy also lives in Northern Ireland. And earlier in the year Amy had contacted me and said, are you going to Stitch in London? How does it work? Blah blah blah. And we had chat back and forward, and anyway Amy decided to make the same travel arrangements with us and come across the day early too. So very early on Thursday morning, the three of us met up at Belfast City Airport and we started what turned out to be a fantastic weekend. So I'm pretty sure Amy had a fantastic weekend too, and Noreen as well. So I don't think I'm speaking out of turn by speaking for them. We did go on Thursday. The retreat doesn't start till Friday, but Noreen and I had that extra day last year as well and decided that we would do it this year because it's a lovely way to just slide gently into the weekend. So we headed off bright and early, and then we had the afternoon in Watford. So it's not in central London, the retreat. It's not in central London, it's in Watford, which is kind of a London suburb. And we headed off to Watford and we moseyed and we chatted, and poor Amy got an interrogation. I think she felt that we interrogated her all before breakfast. We were just curious to know more about her because we hadn't met her before. So hope you survived that interrogation, Amy. No, it was a lovely chat, just getting to know her and spending the day with her. We had some really nice shopping time and we had good food and good chat, lots of laughter, and that was just the perfect easy start to a lovely weekend. In the evening after dinner we headed back to the hotel and there was a little frisson of stitchiness in the foyer as there were a few other folks who had come in to spend the night before the retreat as well. So we were able to sit in the lobby and do a little bit of stitching and chatting with folks who had been there before or were new as well. So then of course, because we were up bright and early, like 4:30 in the morning, I faded fast and about 10 o'clock went up to bed. But it did mean I had a great night's sleep and I was raring to go on Friday morning. I think most of this retreat can be explained to you through the goodies and through the people. So Friday morning, Joanita from Stitchy Themed here on Flosstube. Now she has been taking a break from Flosstube, but we're trying to encourage her back shortly, folks, really are. But she was coming in for Stitch in London and we were supposed to meet last year at Stitch in London and then it didn't happen. So there's great excitement that this year it was going to happen. We were going to be there. So I managed to get down to the train station and meet her coming off her train and walk her up to the hotel and give her a big hug and just say hello, because we have known each other through our channels and through Instagram messaging and doing stitch alongs together. We've known each other now for 2 or 3 years probably, if not more, and it's just been absolutely fantastic to meet her in person and just to give her the biggest hug. So Joanita, it was so special to see you and I'm so glad you were able to join us. You gave us so much to laugh about at the weekend. Yeah, it was absolutely wonderful. So we basically congregated as we do in the morning after our leisurely breakfast, picked up Joanita, brought her back up. Everyone was together. There's more and more people gathering in the foyer and the excitement level is rising as we are getting closer and closer to the stitching room doors opening. It was so nice to have folks who I've met before say hi again, and some new folks who came to say hello to Supriya, who travelled from Prague, came and said hello, and that was really lovely to see her and her stitching on the brag table, which I'm really sorry folks, but I forgot. I was so bad at taking photos all weekend, so any photos that I am popping in as we chat were pretty much taken by other people. But Supriya had finishes. She had quite a number of finishes on the brag table, and I would say maybe 75% of her finishes were oil forest embroidery stitches, and they were gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And I've seen a few folks posting since the retreat and asking, does anybody know what this stitch is? And they are Supriya's finishes, so they were really beautiful. But it was lovely, and Supriya, thank you very much for coming and saying hi. It was very nice to meet you. I hope you had a great weekend too. So all the people, all the things, all the excitement, the doors open, in we go. I get to hug Marie. It's just so fantastic to meet her. Of course, she's really, to meet her again. She's my friend. And, but of course, she's really super busy over the weekend. So, but we got a few times we were able to touch base, and I always give her hugs. So I'm a hugging person, and I hope that doesn't upset anybody. That I think I did check. Most other people are huggers too. So not everybody, but most people. What I will say about Stitch in London this year is I feel like Stitch in London has settled into its groove in a good way, a really good way, not any negative way at all, but that there's a lovely rhythm about it. We know what to expect. It's not a retreat of lectures and classes and things. Occasionally, some years there have been a couple of classes, but mostly it's just a social retreat. And there are some events, if you like, on the agenda, like the swaps, like a quiz, like a raffle, and those things all pepper the weekend, but they don't overstructure it. So it's very loose, it's very sociable. It's the only place in the world where I feel like a social butterfly, because I am absolutely not like that anywhere else. Promise you. All you have to do is ask my husband or the folks I work with. I am just not that kind of sociable person generally. But here at Stitch in London, with all the faces that I know, all the people loving stitching just like I do, it's easy to open up, to feel like you're in your safe space, if that makes sense. So yeah, so I loved it. We gathered at tables. We had a really, really fantastic table, and I'll tell you about all of those folks shortly. Friday is mostly sociable. Marie does a little a welcoming chat. The rest of the day is, you come and go as you please, you stitch as you please, you chat as you please, you do all of that. It was just lovely. Socializing, stitching, shopping, great shopping. Yasmin from Yasmin's Made with Love was there. Rachel from Talking Dog Stitchery, Laura from Cotton and Clay with her beautiful needle minders and bag drops and things. I'm trying to think if I left anybody out. Marie was there, and her husband were there as Swan Bay Fabrics, obviously selling their fabrics, and then later on in the weekend they sold some charts as well. So it was very free and easy on Friday. Saturday we had the quiz, and we didn't do too badly this year. It's not always the easiest quiz. Marie likes hard questions. And an amazing raffle. I mean, amazing. We're talking project bags filled with patterns and Kohana snips or Kohana proper scissors. Hello Go lights, like a craft bag, beautiful selection of accessories from Laura at Cotton and Clay, vouchers for Talking Dog Stitchery. I'm afraid now I'm going to leave something important out, but basically a wonderful, really, really generous raffle. I didn't win anything, but there you go. It's all for a good cause. Marie runs the raffle every year to raise money for charity. So this year's chosen charities were for cancer charity and hospice support as well. So it's always for a good cause, and it's lots of fun to decide which prizes you would like to enter your raffle tickets for, and it's lots of fun to hear them being announced. I think Marie felt under pressure, and she made us choose the winners from the hat this year because I think she didn't want to take the blame this year. But anyway, it was just good fun from beginning to end. Sunday then has a few things on the agenda, like the smalls exchange, the pattern swap table, and a de-stash table. So that's all for Sunday. And as I said, the rest of the retreat is all easy peasy, come as you go with the flow. We did have meals, Saturday and Sunday lunch provided, which was very good. And yeah, the rest of the time you just, go with the flow. Do what your table are doing, do what your friends are doing, whatever it is. For me, this retreat was all about the people. So we had new friends joining us. We had Amy and Joanita this year at our table. And then the rest of our table were friends from before. So we had Leanne, and then there was Noreen and me, and Roz from Roz Clark Crafts. And then we had Edna, who I had been on the table with 2 years ago. Leanne was on our table last year. So we had a really lovely table. Lots of laughter, lots of sharing, lots of support. It's really wonderful to see how we have grown together, and we still have room for new folks coming in as well. So yeah, laughter, support, more laughter. Yeah, there was a lot of laughter at the weekend. You get sore jaw muscles from laughing and smiling so much. There were people who popped by to say hello, so that was really nice. I enjoyed meeting Rosemary and Alison, and as I said, Supriya, and then I met Sophie, who came from France, and Sophie brought me a lovely delivery. She was very kind and helped me source some fabrics. I'll share that in a little bit too. And yeah, it was just great to be away doing something that's a passion, and being with lovely people and having no responsibilities, no meals to make, no children to take care of, all of that. I think there were a lot of us there who don't get a break a lot and needed a break. And Marie and her husband, Gunter, put together Stitch in London, and it provides a really perfect place for us to just exhale and be something other than mummy, wife, daughter, colleague, all the roles that we take on. So, and I say all of that from the female perspective because to date I haven't met any male stitchers at Stitch in London, but it would be great if any of you out there, any of you folks who are male and who stitch, would like to come and join us. So anyway, all about the people, as I said. But retreat goodies, which the table is covered in, and I want to share with you a little bit of those. Yeah, retreat comes with goodies. It comes with gifts from your table, gifts from friends you haven't seen for the year, with haul. And obviously, if you participate, then you will have gifts from the smalls exchange, and maybe you picked up a few things at the swap tables. So stay tuned and let me share with you the bits and pieces that we got, and hopefully it'll give you another view of Stitch in London. So when we arrive at Stitch in London, Marie has a little welcome pack for us, and there were all kinds of things in there this year. I love to hear when people are settling at the tables and opening and going, ooh, ooh, oh, and you hear, it's lovely, it's fun. So inside the welcome pack was a chart that she has designed herself, and it's so nice. So this is our Stitch in London chart for 2025. She actually has two versions. One says Stitch in London and the other one's slightly smaller, just has London on it. And this came with the frame. You can see that little wooden frame. I don't have mine to show you because I am not going to finish mine in the frame, and I actually gave my frame to one of my table mates who wanted to make both of them. So it came with the frame, and it came with beautiful Silks for You PR069. It's a gorgeous blue. Now, to look at this, you wouldn't think there's a lot of variegation in it, but there is variegation in it, and it's very subtle but very beautiful. So on Friday, when the table settled a little bit, I decided that I wanted to stitch this while I was at Stitch in London, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't get back to Scrooge and Marley and the Counting House, was because I wanted to stitch the things that were there at Stitch in London. And Marie also then had a selection of fabrics on her table for us to go and choose a piece of the Swan Bay, beautiful Swan Bay fabrics to stitch this design on. So when I went over to the table, she was like, you can do 46, you can. So this is my 46 count at Stitch in London, trying to talk, trying to count. This is my stitch start and finish. Needs a little bit better pressing, but it's really so pretty. I love it. The silk is absolutely gorgeous to work with. As I said, it's Silks for You PR069. I hope you can see a little bit of the variegation in there in the Big Ben Tower, clock tower, and the buildings beside. I hope you can see it because it really is. It's subtle but beautiful. So I really love this. I'm probably going to finish it as a little pillow of sorts. But as I said, I didn't want to put it into the hoop. That wasn't how I wanted to finish mine. But the hoop was there, and also a hoop butt, one of those wooden things that you press into the back to secure your piece of work. And Marie gave lovely finishing instructions for that on the back of her pattern. So it was all there for us. So that was really good fun. I enjoyed getting that in my pack, and it kept me busy pretty much all of Friday and Saturday in between chatting. So I enjoyed that. We also got a lovely pair of scissors in our pack and a little covered tape measure. Marie had some beautiful floss cards printed. The little cabochon has that Stitch in London design on it, and these have all different birds on them, and they are gorgeous. Honestly, QVC, I'm not going to get a job there, am I? Look, I think there's 2 of each bird. They are beautiful, really beautiful floss drops. And then we also got a little tin of finishing items. I love little tins like this. So we got some rickrack and ribbon. Just trying to get out. We got some nice rickrack and some nice ribbon, some neutral colours. And a couple of beautiful William Morris buttons. Hope you can see that's a strawberry thief on that one. And then a little pin with some charms and buttons on. I don't know if you can see that very well. There's 2025 charms. There's a little made with love charm and some buttons on a little pin. So all very sweet little things to keep us happy. So that was our retreat pack. And we also then, in your retreat pack, you get some tickets for the raffle as well. You can buy more tickets for the raffle to support the charitable causes, but there are always some in your pack too. So those were our retreat packs from Marie. It was really fun to see several people stitching up the Stitch in London design over the weekend. So and in the different colours of her fabrics as well. So that was fun. We had some table gifts too, which are always fun to have. So Roz had been to Paris earlier in the year, and she brought us all little sajou gifts and French silk for our table gifts. So we got a little thread card, so you wind your thread around this little card. This is a sajou card. And then we had there was a little bag of Auvera Soif silk, and she let us choose a colour from the little bag. So these were from Roz. Thank you, Roz. Noreen bought us little purse pouches. She had been in Portugal and picked up a selection of these. We were able to choose one. I love the patterns on this. So handy for a little bit of silk, perhaps. All your stitchy goodies. Amy brought, she brought us cute little notions tin, really teeny tiny tin, but perfect for needles, needle minders, and the little things that we gather for our stitching. And a little thimble from a town that is close to her. So it's a little ornamental thimble from Ballymoney. So thank you, Amy. There was also sweet treats in there. And Noreen's little pouch was full of sweet treats, but I needed them to keep me going. So you won't see any sweet treats in this episode, but there were some in the gifts. So there was also lovely chocolate in with Amy's gift. And then Leanne produced a bundle of these, which made us most excited. These name tags that she had sewn for us. So she had made one of these name tags. I believe they're from Frizzy Lizzy Stitches. It's a free pattern. Let me just check. I think the details are in here. It's a free pattern from Elizabeth at Frizzy Lizzy Stitches, available on her Gumroad. And it's a name tag pattern. And Leanne made one of these for each of us at the table. And she brought with her pre-cut Aida and mat board and double-sided sticky tape and a whole host of flosses so that we could choose our own floss and stitch our own name tag. And I love this. And to say that everybody at the table loved this is an understatement. So we felt very bougie with our fancy name tags all weekend. So I didn't actually stitch my name tag until I came home, but I was able to transfer the one that Marie had given us into here for the weekend. So there's the space for your name tag. The pattern was there, as I said, and Leanne very kindly charted our names all for us and sent them to us overnight. And then there's a little purse down here at the bottom for you to put, money, coins, your hotel card in, whatever. And on the back, there's a big pouch for mobile phone. Or your tea bags or whatever else you want to shove in there. I had some tea bags and decaf coffee that I brought from the room downstairs. So this was our table gift from Leanne. I stitched mine up on Monday when I was off and exhausted and feeling sorry that I wasn't still at Stitch in London and thinking about all my lovely friends there. So this one I will look forward to wearing with pride next year. Thank you, Leanne. This was a really fun gift. And thank you for bringing all the bits and pieces for us to be able to finish it off ourselves. I know a couple of us did stitch it on the weekend. So thank you. So thank you to the table for all the great gifts. There were other friends from around the room who brought some fun things to us as well. I mentioned Rosemary, who came and said, "Hi, I watched the channel," and we had a nice little chat, and she brought me some little flosses, which was very sweet of her. Thank you, Rosemary. Kim from Stitchy Squirrels, my friend, who we were away in March together with. Kim brought us a little pack that had some stickers in, gorgeous stickers. I've already put some of them in my journal, and a little scissor fob or bag fob. Look at that, beautiful. Those were made by Tailor-Made Stitching, who's on Ko-Fi and Instagram. So yeah, that's them. Look at these stickers. Aren't they lovely? Little squirrels. Remember, your direction is more important than your speed. That's quite apt on a stitching retreat. And another little squirrel, because Kim is Stitchy Squirrels. So thank you for those, Kim. They're gorgeous. I will enjoy putting those into my journal. There were a couple of others that I've already popped into the journal. Susanna gave us a sticker. She had a lovely holographic Stitch in London sticker, which is in my journal already. And she gave us a little threader with a charm on it. So I was able to choose the little spool charm, which is so pretty. Thank you. Sarah from Cross Stitch Sarah brought me a little Scrabble tile with my initial on it. It's a little needle minder. Thank you, Sarah. So nice. And Sam brought me this little art jar, and she has decorated it. It says Stitch in London. And it's so pretty. I don't think I'm going to keep mine for orts though. I think I'll put charms and bits and bobs in there. So I'm not an ort keeper. I put my orts in the bin. But I love it anyhow, and it's going to be holding something with pride. So thank you so much, Sam. It was really kind of you to bring that for me. I really appreciated that. Amy, who we met up with and travelled with, brought me a little thank you gift for helping her with travel arrangements and that. And I wouldn't show you them, except that they're just so me. So she brought me a little bee needle, or a little bee notebook, and I love stationery. It's another one of my passions, another one of my downfalls. So a little bee needle book. And then, you know how I always say at the beginning, that if I'm not your cup of tea, you can go and find another floss tuber who is, because there's lots of us and lots of us are different. Well, she brought me a little "You're my cup of tea" key ring. Isn't that sweet? So thank you, Amy. You did not need to bring any kind of thank you gifts, but they're lovely, and thank you, and very appropriate. Thank you very, very much. Okay, I feel like there's going to be an avalanche over here, so if I disappear shortly, you'll know why. Then Roz passed me a little gift, and when I opened it, it brought tears to my eyes because, well, you just know when somebody's really put in a lot of thought. Look, stay well and stitch happy. This is Roz from Roz Clark Crafts, who Noreen and I really enjoy meeting up with every year now, and getting to know her a little bit better. And it was so good to see her and Charlie the dog too this year. But Roz made me my little slogan, my little closing salute. What is a closing salutation? Because a salutation is a greeting, an opening. What is the word for that? Anyway, my little closing statement: stay well and stitch happy. And she has bees on it, and all the colors are perfect, and it's just lovely. And it's a little stand up. So perfect. Thank you so much, Roz. It's so special because it's so thoughtful, and it's beautiful. I love the colors. I love the bees. I love everything about it. Thank you so very much. Thank you. I also then got given some beautiful Tilda fabrics. So Charlie from Charlie Feathers had picked this up from the freebie table, and she shared it around, and she cut a couple of pieces and brought them to me, which was very sweet of her. So thank you, Charlie. Those will make beautiful little cushion backings at some stage, no doubt. And the lovely Lizzie from Mrs. Fisher Stitches came to me at breakfast and said, would you like this? I have an extra one. So it's Quaker Wisdom Berries by Erica Michaels, and they're lovely. They really are lovely. They say, live simply, expect less and give more. So I look forward to stitching those. Thank you. It was very sweet of you to pass those to me, Lizzie. Very kind indeed. I really treasure that. Thank you. So I've been really spoiled, as you can see, and it didn't stop there. In the week preceding retreat, there was an option to pre-order fabrics and charts and things from the various vendors. And one of the things that we could purchase was the exclusive chart for Stitch in London this year from Historical Sampler Company. And this chart turns out to be a sister chart to the one that was available last year. So this is a winter panel sampler. Last year we were able to buy the autumn panel sampler, and I had bought it last year. Last year I stitched the house in the middle on the Sunday, and it still looks like that. It's still got the house stitched in the middle with nothing extra on it. Anyway, I bought the winter one, and it's really pretty. And I did make a start on it, and I have continued to work on it since I came home. So this is one of the other new starts that I was talking about, and here it is. Now at Stitch in London, I got the house in the centre, and I think that's all I got done again this year. But since I came home, I have done a little bit more. I've hopped about kind of all over the place. It's not huge. I have this massive piece of fabric, which is probably too big for it, but anyway, it will be fine. There's a little bit to go beyond this border. It'll be fine. And it's so pretty. It really is so pretty. It's quite detailed, quite there's quite a lot of movement, changing of threads in it. So I think that's one of the reasons why I've done these bits, because I was tired and I didn't want to change threads, and you don't have to for these bits. But the other bits and pieces in the chart do have lovely thread changes involved, and it will be spectacular when it's finished. I really want to do the autumn one too. I didn't intend to leave it with just the house done for a whole year. So maybe we'll get to that. Maybe these two should be my daily threads, if I can, after the winter pillow. Although I do find for my daily threads that I need something that doesn't require thread changes, because that doesn't really work. Anyway, I need to think about that. So sorry, thinking out loud and making a mess of it. This is the exclusive that we were able to get from Historical Sampler Company for Stitch in London 2025. Love that. And then at Stitch in London, I'm quite sure if you've watched anyone else's review or recap of Stitch in London, that you've heard them talk about Hazel. Hazel is another participant in the retreat weekends, and she is super generous with her gifts, and she makes gifts she must make them all year round. I don't know how she sleeps to give enough gifts like these away, but she makes gifts and she gives them out to us all at retreats, and everybody, not just her table mates, get gifts. And this year we got 2 gifts. We got gifts on, I think we got gifts on Saturday and gifts on Sunday. Anyway, one day and then the next day, whichever those days were. And also Hazel is always very good, and she always remembers Charlotte and gifts me something to pass on to Charlotte too. So Hazel does patchwork and quilting, and she makes us all pouches and bags and things like that. So she brought me this beautiful envelope pouch with, look at those cute little autumn characters on there, and it opens up an envelope, and inside there's always something tucked inside. There's another little purse. So pretty. Thank you so much, Hazel. It's really sweet. And then that was my day 1. And then my day 2, I got this beautiful one with the little winter mice on it. I think they're wintry anyway. And inside are some of Hazel's beautiful floss drops. So she hand cuts all of these floss drops herself from greetings cards. And they're just beautiful. Thank you very much, Hazel. I will put all these things to use. And then Charlotte got a bag of treats too. Look at the diving cats. She thought they were fun. And then this is super special. We got a little mouse and we're going to call her Hazel. And she's one of Hazel's little mouse friends. Isn't she beautiful? She's so cute. So Charlotte was really pleased. She'll be pleased to get these back because I've made her give them to me so I can show you on Flosstube. So she's got her little Hazel mouse. She got a little purse, cute colours, little teddy bears on the back, and there's more. Little paperclip charms, other little charms like gummy bear charms, which were cool, and some gingerbread stickers. So I think Mommy might steal one of these, Hazel, to put in my journal for the start of the magical gingerbread sale tomorrow. So I might steal one of Charlotte's stickers. But thank you so much. She was really pleased, and she did send you a little thank you video as well. So thank you very much. I'm not finished yet. I'm really not. I hope you're bearing up. Get yourself an extra cup of coffee, take a toilet break, whatever you need. Okay, so I have one more beautiful gift package to share with you. It was the first time you, Anita, and I have met in person, and she brought me a beautiful bag of gifts from Maastricht. So she lives in Maastricht in the Netherlands. And she tells me that this is the Maastricht angel and the star symbol, and these are emblems of Maastricht. So I got this little card, and she's written me a lovely little note on the back of it. And then she gave me some goodies from Sud-Idee, the needle workshop Sud-Idee. I've got a thread card. I love thread cards. I work with thread cards all of the time. I work with them more than I work with floss drops, actually, but I do work with floss drops sometimes, so I've got one of those as well from Sud-Idee. And then she brought me a beautiful piece of fabric, a piece of Atomic Ranch 40 count. It's beautiful. I've never had Atomic Ranch fabric before, but it's gorgeous. It's like it's very pale, like a marble stone kind of color. It's beautiful, really beautiful. So thank you for that. And a gorgeous fat quarter of Tilda's new Christmas range, which could be used for Christmas or could be used for anything. It's absolutely gorgeous. So thank you so much. There were other goodies in there. Oh, there's a little needle minder magnet. Again, this is the Maastricht star. I think this means something like I like you very much or something like that. At least that's what she tells me. I'm holding this up, and those of you who can speak Dutch know that it says something offensive. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Like, you do my nut in or whatever. No, she said it's a nice thing, so I'm believing her. It's a little magnet, and she's made it into a needle minder for me. So I got these goodies, and there were edible goodies. There was proper Dutch licorice, and there were some speculous nibbles, little speculous bites, and which were supposed to be for Sinterklaas on the 5th, 6th of December. I don't think Sinterklaas is going to see them. We have been enjoying them at home. So thank you for all of the goodies. You didn't need to bring those, Jonida, but I will treasure them. They're really lovely. All right. One of my favorite parts of the weekend, excuse me while I reach to try and bring it over. One of my favorite parts of the weekend is on Sunday. Now, usually on Sunday morning, the noise levels in the room drop a bit because everybody's tired. We've been up since 8 in the morning till 10, half 10, 11 at night, talking and stitching and socializing when most of us are not social butterflies. And we're all tired by Sunday morning, so the noise levels are a little bit lower on Sunday morning. Everybody's chilled, everybody's like, we have to go home soon. There's that dawning realization that it's coming to a close, but we will sit and stitch, and then it's time for the smalls exchange, and it's my favorite, one of my favorite parts of there's so many favorite parts, but it's one of my favorite parts of the weekend. And this year I almost didn't do it, but I'm glad that I did. So I did participate in the smalls exchange, and also in table gifts, which I've forgotten about, about telling you. But I do have a little clip that I pre-recorded before I went away, so that I could share what I made for the table gifts and the smalls exchange with you. So I'm going to insert that little clip now, and then I'll come back to you. Hi there, I'm just popping in this morning with a little pre-record of my Stitch in London table gifts and the exchange piece that I have been stitching for the last little while that I haven't been able to show you. So I wanted to make sure that I record these before I wrap them up or pack them in a bag and head off and give them away. So I have been stitching, as you know, secretly. I have been stitching my exchange piece, and this year I made a little pillow, and the design is from Crochet A Go-Go, and it is the winter basket. She has a series of these baskets for the seasons, and when I saw the winter one, I loved it, and I thought immediately thought that it would make a really lovely swap gift. So I thought I'll put that on the back burner for Stitch in London. And then, well, believe it or not, I think I started this in April and then kind of abandoned it. I had all the plans, you know, to be really organized and be finished in the middle of the summer, but hey ho, it's finished now. It is in advance of Stitch in London, and we're ready to go. So I love the very, very soft, subtle colors of this. It really came to life as I was stitching it. It really came to life when I added in those little red pops of kind of berries and the little neckties on the reindeer. I love this little piece. I changed the date at the top just to be 2025. I think it's 2024 or 2023 on the pattern. Added a little bit of a neutral gingham on the back, and this chenille is hand dyed. I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but there are some over dyed parts in it that look almost like they're tea dyed, so they've gone into the brown shades and the greenish brown shades as well is on the chenille. This is a piece of hand dyed chenille from 21st Century Yarns, which I got a little while ago in like a winter selection pack, and it was perfect for this stitch and for the soft colors of the blues in the floors of this stitch. So really happy with this piece. It is stitched on a 40 count linen 1/2. That 40 count linen is from Swan Bay Fabrics and is Sanditon Beige Medium. It was absolutely a dream to stitch on and is such a gorgeous color. As you can see, the white pops really well on it as well. So that is my piece for the exchange at Stitch in London. I hope it will go into a bag, which I need to get a nice gift bag for it. I don't know if I'm too early to get wintry, Christmassy type gift bags, but I'm gonna try when I go shopping next weekend. And then in the bag, I will include a couple of little extras. Let me just get this one out to show you properly. So this is a caterpillar cross stitch needle minder. It's a snowflake, so it's continuing that winter theme, but also I love the fact that it had the blue center to it, which is just perfect for an accompaniment to this stitch. And then of course we need a little sweet treat, so I've got some Cadbury's mini snowballs to go in the bag as well. So that will be my swap gift for Stitch in London. I hope that whoever chooses it will really love it. We're always nervous about our swap gifts. Will somebody pick it? Will they like it? But what if it's not what they expected it to be? You know, but I have to say, when you're in the room and you hear the level of excitement and the oohs and ahs as people are opening their gifts, I don't think there's too much disappointment going on. So the other thing I'm taking to Stitch in London with me are some table gifts. I am always wondering, what should I take? What is enough? What will be right? What would be different? What would be fun? and I ask too many questions because we all just love getting a little something. It isn't expected, but it just adds to the fun of the day. So I do want to do that. I do want to give some little table gifts when I go over. This summer, early on in the summer, I got a newsletter from Emma Bridgewater. Emma Bridgewater is a designer here in the UK. She is a designer. Mostly her artwork is on pottery, cups and mugs and plates and glassware and home goods, that kind of thing. But she also has had some tins and things in the past as well. So when this newsletter came early on in the summer, it was talking about there being a sale. I had a look at the sale, and in the sale were these little tins. And this is one of her designs. I have this on a mug. I have it in this tin for myself. I have it in another different shape and size of a tin as well. So I love this, and of course it's, you know, perfect. It's got little bobbins of thread and buttons and scissors on it. Perfect for us stitchers and sewers. These were reduced in the sale to an absolute snip of a price, pardon the pun. They were reduced to a fantastic price, and I thought that is what I'm going to get for my table gifts. So I ordered 6 of them, and then I had to think what to put in them. So what I decided to do was to put together a few little items which would allow people to finish their stitches. So it's kind of like little finishing supplies. So I've got 4 little squares of this Lori Holt fabric. It's beautiful fabric, all like sampler, like cross-stitch sampler fabric. And then I cut squares that are about 6 inches square roughly. So that should be able to give you, or give my table friends, backings for little pillows or something like that. And then I added in some little lace trims as well, which are really pretty. And of course there's a couple of little sweets in the side, just for a little energy burst through the retreat. I'll put a little note in the top to say it's from me, and leave them on the table for my friends. So that is this year's table gift for Stitch in London. I will do everything I can to squeeze 6 of these into my suitcase, and I know that they're not small, but they're not that big either, so I'm really keeping my fingers crossed. And you know, if I have to go without an extra pair of trousers or something to get them in, that's fine. Just expect the dirty trousers. Okay, so I'm really hoping that those gifts will be enjoyed by those who receive them, and I'm sure that I will be able to tell you all about the exchange swap when I come back from Stitch in London. So thanks for watching. So that was what I popped onto the Smalls exchange table and the table gifts that I gave to my friends. So this year, I have to say I was surprised. The Smalls exchange table was, there weren't as many people participating in that, but you know, things happen and people don't get time to make. But for those of us who did participate, we got real treats. So our table were actually the last table called, and Roz and I were the last to go to get to the table from our table. So we had the last 2 packages that were there, and one of those packages was one that she had made, so she couldn't take that herself. So I got Roz's gift. And I really, you know, it was the last one on the table, if you like, and I still was a winner. So Rose's package came in a very unassuming white bag, but inside there was nothing unassuming about it at all. This is the rather large Smalls exchange that Rose made for her exchange partner, who happened to be me. Look at this. So Roz has been dabbling in slow stitching. So layering and applying different stitches, different fabrics. It's almost like multimedia. I'm not describing it terribly well, but like multimedia stitching. So she has some cross stitch elements. So here we've got the bird and the needle and floss. We've got some pretty blossoms up here, a little thimble down here, and one of those little floss cards down here. Very French inspired stitching designs. I love the pink colours, really love the pink colours. And then she's been able to cut out and stitch on elements of what must have been some kind of lace ribbon. So this is the bigger piece here. And then you can see she's cut this element out and stitched it on here. And then these little circular elements, she's been able to stitch those on down here. I feel really bad because I feel like I can't do this justice in explaining it or showing it to you, but then it's overlaid, each piece is overlaid with others. So here she's got some, I recognize these are Tilda fabric, this one Tilda up here as well. She has some ribbons that she has stitched on, some other pieces of lace, and then this one has like a crocheted lace or something in the background of there. And then they're stitched on with embroidery stitches to make a full panel for the front of this pillow. And it is quite large, but it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And I love that she stitched it. I love that it wasn't intended for me, but is perfect for me. And I love that this is something I know Roz enjoyed doing, that I know she, this isn't her own style particularly, but I know she will have enjoyed doing all of this slow stitching work. So I love it, and it's just so special that it has come to live with me. And there's this lovely little needle charm on here as well. She's finished it, the back of it, and it was only this morning when I was getting it out again to get ready to show you that I realized it's filled with lavender, because there's a beautiful smell of it. I didn't realize that on the weekend, but it is filled with lavender. So I'm so happy to have shown this to you now, because now I can actually put it on display somewhere and have it where I can see it every day. I love it so much, and I really did luck out. I have been so lucky on all of the exchanges, although I must say that the exchange is so fun, and there are so many beautiful things, inspirational things being stitched and made. The one thing I would say is it might be nice to see them more, because we tend to pick up our exchanges and take them to the table, to our own table, open them and share them with the people at our table. But it would be nice to see everybody's, what everybody made. So I wonder if there's a way that we could maybe do that at retreat too, just so we could see all of the things that have been made. But absolutely beautiful. And then there were the extra goodies that Roz added in, and she kept with her French theme and her Sajou theme. And I got the rest of the set, as it were. Honestly, you would think this was meant to be for me, because this is the set of little thread cards, from which my little thread card that I picked at the from the table gifts came. So actually that one makes up a full set of these Sajou thread cards. We're very lucky that Roz went to France this year. I have to say, I hope she's going somewhere nice next year. How cheeky is that for me to say? Could you go to Italy next year, Roz, and see if there's something nice there? I'm terrible. Anyway, the whole thing was wrapped in tissue paper and tied with this beautiful Sajou ribbon, which I should pull out to show you better. Isn't that beautiful? So I'm able to keep that to use again. I got a spool of the most fabulous pink Oversoie silk. Isn't it gorgeous? Gorgeous, gorgeous. And then a few little Sajou postcards. This one Roz has written on for her swap partner. And then there are two other pretties. And this I was really excited about, because I've seen these and loved them and thought how nice it would be to have one. And now I do have one. It's a little Sajou miniature album of stitches. So it's like little, I'm whipping it the wrong way, little sampler alphabets. feel so lucky, I really do. Look, there you go. All the Saju goodness a girl could want. So thank you so much for your really thoughtfully put together smalls exchange, Roz, and I'm so pleased it was the last one on the table. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All good. Now, did I buy anything at retreat? I think I'm gonna have to take a drink to rehydrate myself after all this talking. I did come back on Monday. I had very little voice on Monday. I don't normally talk that much in one short space of time. Yes, haul. Oh yeah, there was also at the swaps table, or at the pattern swaps. We did some pattern swapping around our table before we went to the big table, the main table, and Roz had this one to give away. So it's a little JBW design spring in the round, and it has 2 umbrellas on it, so I didn't pass that one up. So yeah, I feel like I fleeced Roz this weekend. I got gorgeous table gifts, I got her exchange, and I got something from the swap table from swaps from her as well. So yeah, thanks for all of the stash support, Roz. Anyway, I did make some purchases. I had a pre-order purchase through Sophie, who lives in France, and about 3 or 4 episodes back, I was showing you some of my stitching that was on Zweigart Ada fabric, on 32 count Zweigart Ada, and it's really hard to get sorry, it's not Ada, it's Zweigart linen in aqua. The colour is aqua. And it's really hard to get at the minute. Used to be able to get it no problem, but I don't know if they're just not making it or it's not being sold in the UK or what. But anyway, I asked on that episode if anybody knew where I could access it. Could they please let me know? And Sophie said she could get some and that she was coming to Stitch in London and would bring it for me. So so she ordered it for me and I paid her, and she brought it all the way from just outside Paris all the way to me at Stitch in London. So I'm so happy to have some of this for my stash. I don't know, it's one of those things because now I've got it in stash, I'm maybe afraid to use it. But no, I will definitely use it when I want to, when I have a project for it. I love this linen so much. And it was so kind of you, Sophie, to offer to bring it to me. And I'm so glad that I got to meet you in person. So it was nice to spend some time with you at the weekend too. Thank you very much for being my fabric mule. I bought some fabric from Swan Bay Fabrics, of course, because they had amazing fabrics, as always, on sale. And after Marie forced my hand with the 46 count, I have stitched 46 count, I think, on one other project before, but it's not something that I naturally go to. But when Marie had encouraged us, a couple of us, to use the 46 count fabric for her Stitch in London design, I thought, right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add to my 46 count stash. So I picked 3 beauties. We've got Pemberley, which is this one at the top, Longbourn Blush, and I think that's Light Sanditon in the middle. Yeah, Light Sanditon in the middle. So those are my 46 count stash additions, and I wouldn't normally maybe buy this much, but because we can't get things posted to Northern Ireland, I have to buy it when I see it at Stitch in London now. That's what I told hubby anyway. So those were my fabric purchases. Coffee Craft Fabrics was also there, but I do have 2 or 3 of her fabrics from last year that I haven't used yet, so I didn't make a fabric purchase with her, but she did sell really cute needle minders. She had a basket of really fun needle minders. And I got this one from Friends, I'll Be There For You, and a little sewing machine. And I picked up a little Stranger Things one for Noreen because she's a Stranger Things fan. So there were fun needle minders in Megan's baskets on her table. And then I went to visit with Rachel at Talking Dog Stitcher, and I picked up this chart which I've been trying to get hold of for ages. It's always out of stock on 123 Stitch, but it is Blueberry Ridge Sampler Holidays Christmas. I love it. Another red one. There is a red theme to the charts that I picked up this year at Stitch in London, and I also got some floss from Rachel, a Talking Dog, for this chart. So I picked Gentle Art Cranberry, which I think will be lovely for this one. And then I got some more floss from Rachel, but that was for another pattern. But the other things I bought from Rachel were these these wooden frames for holding your perforated paper when you're stitching like a Mill Hill kit or something. So this is wooden and magnetic, and I bought two different sizes. Rachel had them for sale for really good value. This one was £9 and this one was £17, and I picked them up because I do have some Mill Hills and I think they would be very handy to use. I think you could also frame with them, like make them a permanent frame for something, maybe not the Mill Hills, but for something if you really wanted to. But they are very handy for holding the perforated paper while you're stitching and act as effectively like a magnetic hoop. But as I said, the prices were really good because I have looked online and they come from makers in the Ukraine, a couple of different makers in the Ukraine, but they can be quite expensive to buy through Etsy. And Rachel's prices were very good in comparison. So I was happy to pick up and happy to support Rachel's shop by doing that. So I got those. And then Yasmin was there. Yasmin's Made with Love. Her stall has exploded with brilliance. When I say it has exploded, Yasmin she started selling at Stitch in London 2 years ago, I think, and it's just been wonderful to see how her stall grows every year, and the offerings that she has are growing and expanding as well. So anyways, I made some purchases from her, and they happen to be also 2 red stitches. So this Abecedarian in red, which I had seen advertised, but I saw the model there and it was just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So it's another red sampler. And then I made this one, a purchase as well. It's called 360 Degrees. It uses 2 different red flosses. I think I'll only use one, but and I purchased Schoolhouse Red from Rachel for that. But we'll see. I mean, I might add a darker red to it. You can see the darker red goes into these border areas, but I thought it was beautiful, and again the model was there, and there's nothing quite like seeing a model of a design. So yes, red and more red. Everything was red. And I did, when I was shopping with Yaz, I did remember you folks, and I thought you might like to receive one of her new mini cross-stitch kits. She has been busy creating little cross-stitch kits, and they are beautiful. So it comes with this one comes with 14 count Ada splash. You can see there it's a splash fabric, which is the one that the model is stitched on, and all those beautiful threads too. Aren't the colors fabulous? And this is it's called Cup of Cacao, a little gingerbread man in a Christmas mug. So I thought you might like to receive this as part of my giveaways today. So if you would like to be in with a chance to win this one, then put the word mug in your comments, M-U-G in your comments, and I will send you this little kit from Yaz if you are the winner. Again, all the rules apply. I said them at the beginning, don't need to bore you with them again. So mug is the word for this little giveaway today. And my very last purchase then at retreat was a bag from Ness Craft Room. Ness makes really stunning bags and folios. Actually, watch her on, I think she's on an Etsy shop, Ness Craft Room. She said she's going to make some folios for Christmas, so maybe I'll get one of those. But this is the bag that I chose. Several years I have gone to buy a bag from Ness and then didn't, because the people in the line in front of me bought the ones I was looking for. So, so this year I managed to get to the bag that I wanted, and it is beautiful. And Ness has such beautiful finishing skills. Her work is immaculate, and I love this wee fabric. So, and I have a project in mind for this one I've been kitting up. I don't know when I'll ever get it started, but I have been kitting up a very nice project, and I will put it into this bag and treasure it. So thank you to all of the vendors who came and made the shopping experience at Stitch in London so much fun. Certainly and I know many other people don't get a chance to go into needle workshops. We don't have them or aren't near them or whatever. So it's really lovely to see fabric and floss in person, and to be able to see little knickknacks as well, like little tins, sewing related tins and needle minders and floss, scissor fobs, sorry, and bag fobs and all the things. And it's, you know, it's just such a treat. The whole thing, the whole weekend is such a treat. So yeah, I came home with no money, no voice, and a very full heart. So yeah, it was great, and I'm counting the days to be able to do it again and saving my pennies so that I can be at Stitch in London 2026. Huge thanks to Marie and Gunther for putting the weekend on for us, for allowing us to have that space to come together, for bringing the vendors to the space, for arranging the little events that populate the, you know, that pepper through the weekend and make it fun, the exchanges, the swaps, the raffles, all of those things. Yeah, retreat at its best is I think about connecting with other people, connecting with people who stitch, when very often we don't have people in real life to stitch with. So yeah, it's about connecting with stitchy folk, even if we don't actually do much stitching at the retreat ourselves. So it was good. It was all good. I think you can tell that. So thank you very much if you've stayed with me for this long today. I'm sorry it was such a long episode. I should be back in 2 weeks' time, and hopefully with a regular episode. And until then, don't forget, stay well and stitch happy. Bye.